I'm David Lloyd. We have breaking news into SportsCenter. Adam Schefter reporting that John Harbaugh is out as Ravens coach after 18 seasons. He was the second longest tenured coach in the league behind the guy who beat him Sunday night, Mike Tomlin. Harbaugh won a Super Bowl in the 2012 season, but is 4-7 in the playoffs since. And let's bring in Adam and our NFL analyst, Mina Kimes. Bit of a surprise, guys. Adam, what more can you tell us about why Harbaugh is out in Baltimore?
Well, David, we've been talking about this since Sunday, and while many people were focused on Mike Tomlin's future, it always felt like the coach to focus on here was John Harbaugh. And the Ravens lost on Sunday night, which sped up the timetable on these conversations about the direction that the organization and John Harbaugh both wanted to take. The Ravens owner, Steve Bisciotti, was in the building today to meet with John Harbaugh, and he wanted to take the organization in a different direction. After watching John Harbaugh coach his team for 18 seasons, it was time for Steve Bisciotti to take back his team and to set John Harbaugh free. I expect John Harbaugh to be the most in-demand coach in this cycle with multiple opportunities. He will be able to go wherever he wants, basically, to get a head coaching job. Baltimore now embarks on its own head coaching search, but Steve Bisciotti felt like this was the right thing to do at this particular time. The two sides went their own ways, and now John Harbaugh becomes the most in-demand coaching free agent out there.
Mina, anytime a coach who's won a Super Bowl is let go, or there's a mutual parting of the ways, or whatever we characterize this as, a guy who's been there that long, it's big news. What's your reaction to this move?
I mean, this is stunning given his resume, the Super Bowl, obviously, but I think back to during the beginning of the Lamar Jackson era, how well he managed that, the change of the offense midseason, the hires he made, moving on from Greg Roman for Todd Monken. He hired Mick Macdonald, who, of course, has now gone on to be one of the best head coaches in football. His record is tremendous. That said, in recent years, this team has missed out on the playoffs in a litany of, frankly, excruciating ways that have felt like execution errors in big moments, drops, fumbles, the missed kick. Remember, Harbaugh's a special teams guy. You can't blame the head coach. He didn't fumble the ball or drop it or miss the kick himself, but at a certain point, it does fall at his feet. So it is understandable, even though it is shocking. And I, of course, echo Adam's sentiment. He's incredibly desirable as a head coaching candidate. I imagine he will have his pick of the open jobs. And I would also say I think this Baltimore job, though, becomes the most desirable of the coaching jobs, and there's going to be quite a competition for that one.
Yeah, partly because of that roster, partly because you have Lamar Jackson, a multiple MVP winner, as your quarterback.
The Ravens felt like it was just time for a fresh start. We've seen this everywhere. We had similar shock when the Patriots moved on from Bill Belichick. This is the biggest coaching move since New England moved on from Bill Belichick, and it's not for altogether dissimilar reasons.
Let's go to that Baltimore job now. I mean, as you said, it's the most appealing one out there. Can you think of any names that would be a good fit for a team like that, the way the roster is comprised with Lamar Jackson as your quarterback?
I would love a defensive coach here, and I'll throw out two names. The first one is Brian Flores. The Minnesota Vikings defense finished third league-wide in DVOA, and the defenses around them, I would say, have considerably more star power, but Flores has been the difference there. The defense in Baltimore has serious issues. They have talent, but I think he could inject some creativity and allow them to improve on that side of the ball in a way that's necessary. I also think Jesse Minter with the Los Angeles Chargers, who is from the Mike Macdonald tree, right, in Michigan, would be a good choice. I think he is similarly to Flores, slightly different scheme, but he has done a fantastic job there, again, with some talent limitations, and he has elevated the players. And that's another name I would be looking at if I was Baltimore, and I would go in that direction.
Good names all. Adam, you got any that you can think of?
Yeah, I think Jesse Minter is a spot-on nomination, selection, discussion, because he's been there before, and we've seen Mike Macdonald coach in Baltimore and go on to great success in Seattle. That bodes well for Jesse Minter, his candidacy, and I would figure that he would absolutely be a candidate in Baltimore. Another coach that I expect to get interviewed for that job will be the Dolphins defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver, who's also spent time in Baltimore before. He will be another name that garners some consideration in Baltimore. We'll see what direction they go. But there's going to be a lot of candidates that want that job, just like there's going to be a lot of teams that want John Harbaugh.
Again, the fallout from this momentous decision is twofold. A, as you guys have pointed out, the Ravens immediately become a very attractive job, and John Harbaugh immediately becomes a very attractive candidate for the 6 head coaching jobs that are out there right now. In addition to Baltimore, that's Las Vegas, the Giants, Tennessee, Cleveland, Arizona, Atlanta, and Baltimore. Thank you, guys. All right, you take a look at this and what's happened in the course of John Harbaugh's career. In the course of this season, remember, the Ravens were a preseason co-favorite to win it all, but they stumbled to this 8-9 record. They are the first preseason favorite to miss the playoffs since the 2008 Patriots.